Hello, everybody. My name is Lenore Von Stein, and this is an episode of The Facts. And I'm sitting here tonight with Beth Griffith, Andrew Bolotowski, and Bern Nix. And, well, I'm standing here. Some of them are sitting. Well, you know what I'm saying. And so this is actually a rehearsal for a work that we're going to be doing. And the focus of this work is on motivations. I'm looking at what my motivations are, because sometimes, like, I don't know why I'm doing things. I just do it. But, that's not a good enough scientific, useful reason. And then also why other people do what they do. And I teach history classes, and a lot of times, every semester, several of my students, the class is really in American government, and several of my students say to me, how can they do that? Why do they? I can't believe it, because I'm telling them things apparently they haven't heard before in their other classes, giving them stats they haven't heard in their other classes. What are they trying to do? I mean, how can this happen? And So what are the motivations, for instance, for the powers that be? What are the goals? I mean, I'm not saying there isn't a big dose of sort of a cultivated blindness to the suffering of others, but and waste. And there's also an impotence in terms of changing the system. It's more, get along to get along, bully ahead. Anyway, it's a combination of these kind of more global motivations and inside motivations, and I'm sure they're the same in some ways. So let's look at this piece, Alfred Hitchcock's Construction. This was a guy who constructed stuff and got ahead. So whose cue is it?
It's mine.
Okay.
Ready? Banda, banda, lamba, ba, 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 ba,
So what? Do you want to try this again?
Yeah, no, because I had the wrong cue. I mean, no, I have the cue, but I just,
Let's try it one more time. Maybe a little faster.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
You call it a little faster.
Banda, ba,
Well, that was better. That was better. Payday loans charge 400% interest. Twice as much as like loan sharks. Understanding of who bankrolls these payday loan corner places are like Citibank and Bank of America. It's a way to get their little fingers into. So what would be the motivations to stop this kind of brigandry? When I was a kid, I wanted to be a movie star. And like many kids, right? Because it seemed like the most reasonable choice to marrying power and sensitivity. This would work. And but I didn't understand the things that it would take, the inner contingencies, the other things that I had to settle with myself to move forward. And so when I was in a situation where the possibility of moving forward was there, I was faced with these very ambitious people who scared me to death. I mean, who are these people? They're completely ruthless, and I don't want to be around them. And one of the things that I want to understand for a lot of time in my life, not now, but earlier in my life, I did a lot of things I thought by default. Why are you doing that? Well, it's better than the other choice. That's all it was. It wasn't that I wanted. I was very rarely faced with somebody or something to do that I was really wanted to do or wanted to be around. It was just, got to do something, and so do that. Because that's much worse. And yeah, thank God that those days are, I think, gone. Default. I don't believe that it was by default anymore. Maybe there was an element of default in it, but it had to be really motivated. Some portions of the motivations are complex. My motivations, and that's disentangling them is part of the job. If I want to understand this, and I do. let's look at this piece, Mumbling, which is, I wrote about, a sane reaction to an insane world. Well, insane are wrong terms, but the nice reaction to a not nice world. What are you going to do? I see, it's okay. Okay. With the cue. Who has the cue?
Me. Me.
So here's a stat, among other stats, that I give my students that they just get all riled up about. So about half the people in American prisons are in prison for nonviolent drug problems. The United States has the highest prison population in the world, whether you put it by percentage of people or just sheer numbers. We have the highest prison population in the world. And Americans, I'm just reading out of here, Americans have been arrested for handing out free food in the park. Mothers in Ohio and Connecticut were jailed for enrolling their kids in out-of-district schools. So it's not only that we put a lot of people in jail, we also put in people in jail for a very long time compared to other places. In 2003 in California, there were 344 people serving sentences of 25 years or more for shoplifting as a third offense, in many cases after 2 nonviolent offenses. So the look on your face is the look that I get from my students. I have many more of these stats to throw at them. And so what is the motivation? What is the thing that the powers that be, the corporate powers that be, and the government managers for the corporate powers that be, what are they looking at? What are they trying to achieve? Is it just all short-run stuff? Is it long-run stuff? What are they worried about? What's motivating this kind of barbarity? The United States ranks 27th out of the 30 richest countries in the world for child poverty. That means households that are living 50% below the median income. The United States, the richest place in the world, the 27th. It's one of the worst places, according to UNICEF, to be a child. In the developed world. So what are we going to try now? We're going to try passive resistance, which I think works. So, people say, I heard Noam Chomsky the other day on TV, they were asking him, did they think that things had gotten better or worse? And he delineated the ways, and I have this feeling, too, that things have actually gotten better, that the United States has become more civilized through demonstrations, through people fighting back, have changed the way. It's still a long way to Tipperary, but a long way. But and certainly the blowback from the 40 years of Republican or this idea of the more and more wealth held in fewer and fewer hands has been certainly bad news. But in terms of and racism is still quite alive and well, but a lot better than it was 40 years ago. And a lot less, or less, maybe not a lot less, and so on and so forth. The situation of women is better. The situation of children is better. It's bad. It's terrible, but it's better. Even freedom of the press, according to Noam, is my man. Let's try and by measurements, not just what do you think. Okay, try passive assistance. Whose cue is it?
Me.
Bar 20.
Bar 20, right.
Did something happen there?
No.
Many things.
Many things.
There's a flute and there's a guitar, and we did many things.
These stats that I'm giving you, they're from this guy named Paul Buchtheit. They were published in The Nation of Change, an online paper. Okay, so here's another one. Over 40% of recent college graduates are living with their parents, dealing with government loans that average $27,200. The unemployment rate for young people is about 50%. More than 350,000 Americans with advanced degrees applied for food stamps in 2010. Bitch-ow. It's like Italy, like you get to be a doctor and then you have to work for free for 10 years or some 12 years, right, before. my students, they say, hasn't it always been like this? But it certainly wasn't always like this. It's not always going to be like this because things are always changing. But when I went to school, it wasn't like this. I mean, in terms of student loans, or the number of people living with their parents. So let's see if we have enough time to do surreal. Just practice this. Yeah, we got 4 minutes. Surreal. Who's the cue?
It looks like it's the flute
Andrew.
again.
Andrew.
It's the flute again. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Vern, are we ready?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is nice. I like the end. I don't know. Sometimes I write this music. Sometimes people call it's spiky, or I know maybe they don't call it spiky. They call it like percussive, or I don't know. It's I trying to use sound to write the way the world sounds to me. Or something sounds to me. I don't know if it's the world or inside my head, or when I sit down there to write the music, this is what comes out, and I. So you can find us online if you got nothing else to do. It's Saturday, and there will be. You can hear old episodes. Bye for now.